Do you text me a link?
I will text you. How do I text you a link?
Well,
okay.
You...
We're live.
We're bad at this.
How do I text you a link?
Copy.
Oh,
and then you text it to
and
me
then I
using
can
your
put
computer.
it to messages, and then I can text my husband. Okay, that's where are you?
Whoever I am. I don't know. I sent you a text, so if you go up, but then probably near the top.
No, because these are. Let's see. Hello, internet. We are terrible humans.
Okay. You want me to send you a text? You'll have to do something.
Yes, that would be great.
Okay, just a second. We're bad at this. That's why
we're not bad at this.
Direct. Sorry, that's Max. Where are you?
I think it's just because I haven't had the computer on, so it's not showing more recent stuff.
So you know what? I might be able to get you up from my computer. Never mind.
Okay.
Because it's also logged in as me, so maybe we'll be visible. Your videos. This is awkward. Yes, it is. It is. It exists. Okay.
Oh, I found you.
I got it. I can do it now too, though. This is so weird because I'm watching myself on the
owlbear babies. Oh, they're so beautiful.
All right, I'm just gonna post.
Okay. Hello, friends.
Just a second.
Hello, friends. Hello, friends. No one is watching us. You'll be able to see this if you watch it later.
Okay.
Friends. Friends. Friends.
Yes, we were attempting to text things to me, but it then didn't work. How do I close this? I can't make it go away. It just wants to share. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
All right.
Hello, friends.
Hi. I'm kind of half sitting in a bookshelf today.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I can make more.
It's okay, because we have Waylon, and Waylon for once does not have a computer on him. So.
This is Waylon.
He's good.
I have had Waylon. I think I've had Waylon like since college.
He's very large.
Waylon is.
Now I'm definitely sitting in the bookshelf.
A large boy.
It's okay, because I have Mike. Did we show you Mike last time?
Yes, we showed the Mike last time.
Mike is beautiful.
Hello, Luz.
Hi. There's Mike. Mike says hi too. Mike probably says saucier things than hi, but.
Yeah, so Waylon is an old friend.
I love you, but there's not room for Waylon and for me to have elbows. And
no elbows for
There is room for Waylon behind, but...
Oh, hi.
Hi. Apparently I always wear hats in this because today it's because I just washed and dyed my hair, so it's all wet and weird.
But
much bluer.
Don't always wear hats in this.
You never wear hats.
Oh, we've only done it twice. Never say never.
Have I ever seen you in a hat? I think I've seen you in hats like once or twice. Yeah.
I've done cosplays that have hats.
That's true.
But
rarely
I don't like wearing hats because if I wear a hat, this all gets flat. So my hair gets very terrible if I wear hats. So I try not to.
It's largely irrepressible though.
Yes. Well, no, it's kind of repressible if you put a hat on it. It gets weird and flat at the top. So no hat, just hair. I wear earmuffs in the winter, and they cover the soft parts, the sensitive parts of head, and the wool on top keeps everything else warm. So, yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So how are you?
I'm okay. It's been a weird day. It's been a weird week.
It has been a weird week.
I mean, last week was a weird week too. It's just a lot of weird week everywhere. And yeah, I feel like last week we had a much clearer idea of what to bring in. We had this very set agenda. And this week T got new strings for her ukulele. So I'm pretty much planning on surfing on that.
Remember how we talked about how I didn't have a ukulele. My ukulele needed new strings.
I'm going to aim this down a little bit so that they can see your ukulele as you play it because it's good.
This is one of my.
But not your T-shirt, which is amazing also. So yeah, we have matching ones. I'm not wearing mine right now, but yeah. Talking to it, say fuck the police.
Yeah. So fuck the police.
Hello to all 5 people watching.
Hello to all 5 people watching. Oh, it's 4. Somebody
right.
went away.
You're right.
They might have been a cop.
No, I just mixed up the thumb up with.
No, it had a 5, and I think there was a cop watching, and we lost the person.
It's possible it was still counting my computer when I had it open so that I could post the link.
Okay.
All right, but So in addition to the ukulele, we do have two sort of happy being shut in things this week. We decided we're going to try to do this every time, and they kind of go together this week, because T got her ukulele back up and running and got rotated its tires. And also we watched both seasons of a show that we now both deeply love and are profoundly committed to, even though it's only 2 seasons long, so it's over. And that is Gallivant. If you haven't seen Gallivant, it's a musical. It's musical comedy. It's 22-minute musical comedy, which is really the most impressive part for me. It is set in a fantasy Middle Ages. It's extremely, extremely fun. It stars, among other folks, Magnitude from Community. And it has a very catchy theme song, which T has worked out on ukulele. We're very proud. I'm not going to sing. Just gonna sing.
I'm going to sing?
Are you going to sing? I can't.
I thought you were going to sing with me.
I'll try to sing with you.
Okay.
My ability to match or meet or achieve any kind of reasonable pitch is still iffy.
Back in the days of old, there was a legend told about a hero known as Gallivant. Square jaw and perfect hair, cojones out to there. There was no hero quite like Gallivant. Tough plus every other manly value. Mess with him, he'll disembowel you. Yay, he ruled in every way, a fairy tale cliche, and people called him Gallivant. That song goes on for like 15 verses. I'm not doing them all.
It recaps a lot of the plot.
It gets reprised with new lyrics a lot. Yeah. So we've been watching Gallivant. We just finished it.
Yes, it's so good. It has
a
pretty much perfect finale.
And a lot of spoilers that I don't want to ruin for anybody, because one of them is a big question that you really want answered.
I am just going to say, and this does not spoil anything, that I believe in Tad Cooper.
We all believe in Tad Cooper. Oh my gosh.
Tad Cooper is so good.
Yes. So,
we're back up to 5.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Oh, man. Someday we'll figure out how to do this slightly more artfully, and then you can say that you were here when.
Yeah.
Say that. No one will be impressed.
No. Yeah, so that was
good.
Yeah, we really enjoyed that show. And it's short. It's not like Sailor Moon, where we have been watching it for, I think, like the past 25 years, and we still have like 2,000 episodes to go.
At least. Well, that's just of like Sailor Moon Q. There's also Sailor Moon like R through Z, and then it starts getting into the hexadecimal numbering.
Yes. So anyway, we've been watching Sailor Moon 2, which has been very good. Did we talk about that last time?
No,
I don't remember.
I think we mentioned it.
Yeah. So
can you play that? Can you play the theme from that on ukulele?
Yes, we can see the chat. You can also vibe as much as you like. If you prefer for us to not, to like pretend to not see the chat.
What does vibing mean in this context?
Pretend.
Are we just hanging out and can't see each other? Existing in some sort of
yeah.
It's a sidebar and the text is very small, so we're just sort of glancing over it sometimes.
We're not going to read a lot of it, but if we see somebody say something that we feel like we want to comment on, we will. So, feel free to ask questions. We just might not see them.
I see that someone in there mentioned that Gallivant is Alan Menken, which it is.
Yes.
If you are not familiar with him, this is the guy behind Little Shop of Horrors and a lot of other really good stuff. A lot of the best Disney. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast. I think Aladdin. Did you know Aladdin?
I don't remember who did which one.
He definitely did Beauty and the Beast, and there's definitely a bit of the Gaston song in the Gallivant opening. Like there are some of the same rhythmic patterns and bits of pattern.
Oh my gosh. And the show has so many like really good Broadway parodies.
Yeah.
And other parodies too, but like classic Broadway parodies, which are just so excellent.
There's definitely an episode where they do both West Side Story and Les Mis.
In the same episode.
And pull it off, which is the really remarkable part there.
Yeah, they're not like bad Broadway parodies.
Yeah, they're really well
good
done.
In and of themselves. There's also, we saw a Grease parody.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil the Grease one because the Grease one would be a major spoiler.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't spoil it. But there's a Grease parody. Yeah. It's so good.
It's fun. It's smart. The characters have really neat arcs.
They do.
The best thing about season 2, I'm going to mildly spoil it because it's been out for years, and say that my favorite thing about season 2 is that the villain of season 1 becomes one of the heroes of season 2, and he's one of the most delightful characters from the start. Like he's a really fun villain.
But he's also got like the most interesting and significant story arc, I think, of any character in it. And
getting to root unironically for him in season 2 was nice.
Yeah. He's I don't remember the actor's name, but the actor is phenomenal.
He is. He's not only is he phenomenal, but he had a number of people in the production dead convinced because he pulled it off so well that he was British, which he is not. And no, he's wonderful. And also, if you ever see, what got me interested in watching it, because we'd seen the first couple episodes and been like, this is fun, and then just not really watched more, is that I found the outtakes on YouTube, and they're delightful. So, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Somebody tell Luz that she can demute the video. We're not going to spoil it.
We're not spoiling it. We're being good.
Yeah. So so that's been one thing we've done this week.
Yes.
I've done a lot of. This was my first full week of working from home, which went pretty well. I got to talk to a lot of cartoonists on the phone this week, which obviously they call me at work, but I think more people kind of picked up the phone and gave me a call, which was really nice. I got to find
terrible.
out. Look. No, it's not. It's never terrible to talk to the cartoonists.
Okay.
So it's so it was really good, and just being able to check in with people was nice. And getting a lot. There was a lot of adjustment, but we're getting there. And
it's been a lot. We definitely got better adjusted to working together this week, which was nice. And to using the home workspace, and I got some of the things that had been major roadblocks in that kind of fixed. We cleaned our dining room and then immediately refilled it with things, but more organizably. So that was good.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we set up the dining room. So the dining room, we have a really tiny kitchen. I think we mentioned we had a tiny kitchen.
We have a galley kitchen, which is basically like imagine a walk-in closet and then divide it in two, and half of that's our kitchen.
Yeah. So there's like space to stand, and a fridge, and a stove, and a sink, and a dishwasher.
There's space for us to stand next to each other, but not like
in front of each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the dining room tends to end up being an extension of the kitchen in ways where like it ends up being prep service. It ends up being storage for stuff.
It's been storage a
lot lately. So we got it. We turned it into office space.
Yes, we turned it into office space, but also still storage, but storage that's more organized because we also have a lot more of some specific things than usual right now.
Yes, like Peeps.
Yeah.
We talked about the Peeps last week.
But I mean, I think talking about the food shopping thing is worth it. So this gets complicated for us because we try not to be jerks and hoarders, but we also both have really severe food allergies.
Yes.
And so finding things that are safe and shelf stable that we can both eat can get challenging.
I mean, I feel like you have severe food allergies. I have mild food allergies that sometimes conflict with some of Jay's allergies.
Yeah, yours are also like except for some of the like sweet potatoes. I think yours are largely to things that tend to be like fresh produce.
Yes, mine are mostly like
because yours are all fruits and vegetables.
Mine are all fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
Because they're all it's all sort of they're not technically like the same family, but they're all. It's the same protein or amino acid or something. I think proteins and are they amino acids protein?
Amino acids make up proteins.
Protein. So so it's the same thing in all of them. Anyway.
So that's a hard line to walk.
Yeah.
So we watched a lot of Gallivant. We definitely both had some major panic moments. This has been my week of things like actually starting to hit me, which has been weird. Usually my main coping mechanism tends to be contingency planning and like getting as much actual data as I can. And this is a context in which that's not actually reassuring or entirely possible. So that's been complicated. Getting away from social media has been helpful. Folding laundry's been nice.
Yes, Jay did a lot of laundry folding. I've been doing some reorganizing.
Yeah.
So that's been really great. And what else?
Sewing. Well, we found patterns. We're gonna sew masks.
Yes. So
not the fun kind of masks.
We're gonna sew masks to send to hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I did was I found polypropylene, which is the fabric. It's the stuff used for the fabric that masks are usually made out of. So I was able to find the same weight of polypropylene that is typically used for surgical masks, and bought a few yards. I didn't buy a lot. Again, we're not trying to be assholes, but I bought a few yards of actual polypropylene, and I've been reading tutorials.
We should say, if this is something you're interested in, Joanne Fabric has been collecting tutorials and patterns for sewing masks to donate. And they're basically turning their stores into donation centers, because hospitals are running really low on PPE, personal protective equipment. And so we're going to be trying to make a bunch of that, because we have 2 sewing machines and a serger in our apartment and 2 people who know how to use them. Yeah.
So I got polypropylene, and basically most of the instructions that Joanne Fabrics has up, I think all of them, in fact, are for doing stuff with regular 100% cotton fiber, which means that if you can blend the percentage, the rate of infection, like the rate of infectious stuff that can get through a cotton blend is much higher than it is for 100% cotton. I saw a chart earlier, and I don't remember what it was, but it goes from about 60% to about 80% if you're using actual proper cotton.
Wow.
So highly recommend doing that. This is for woven fabric. The polypropylene stuff is non-woven, which is why it's safer. So that's what I've been reading about.
Cool. I've been knitting a lot. I've been learning new stitches, which I'm not going to show you because I forgot to bring the things in, but I decided I wanted to learn linen and double linen stitches, which have lent themselves really well to the kinds of weird freeform quilting and fabric sculpture that I like. So I've been playing around a lot with that.
Yeah. Oh, and Jay made me a bracelet.
Awesome yarn, which knits up into sort of a weird kind of muted rainbow.
Jay made me a bracelet, but I forgot to bring it in. It's sitting on the couch.
That's okay.
It's very cool. It has a button on it.
Yeah, because this is yarn I got to knit stuff for tea, and we were thinking socks, but it's not machine washable as far as I know. It might be. We should try running it through the wash and see how it does. But which makes it not great for socks.
That is okay. It's still very beautiful, and you are still very beautiful.
Oh, you too.
Aww.
We've also been snuggling a lot, which has been nice. Like, one of the nice things about working from home is that we get to see each other a lot more during the day than we do normally.
Yes, that's pretty cool.
Although we also text each other a lot during the day anyway.
Yes. Well, Jay usually has his headphones on when he's working, and I don't know if they're on or off at any given time. So, so I end up, if he's got the headphones on, I end up texting a lot because I'm like, I can't tell if he hears me. So
everything that I do for work pretty much either involves listening to audio or things that are pretty high focus. So yeah, I tend to just leave headphones on. I decided a while ago to spring for really, really fancy Bose noise canceling headphones, which I don't actually use the noise canceling feature of, but are the only noise blocking and canceling headphones that I can stand wearing for long periods of time because they're really comfortable, and the shape of them just sort of works for my head really well. So I tend to just kind of live in those when I'm working.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Good.
They look really comfy.
Good headphones.
They're all good. They're very
And the other thing I'm looking forward to, and I guess this can be a preview for next week, is mail art, because I ordered like $60 worth of stamps. And we bought lots of envelopes. And so we're not going to be able to go anywhere, and we're not really going to be able to see people, but we can mail things. So we're going to be doing a lot of that.
Yes. I think, like, what else is going on?
I mean, New York's really scary right now.
New York's weird.
Yeah, New York is weird.
New York's, I don't think New York is scary. I think
aspects of the current situation in New York are scary.
Yes.
New York itself is pretty lovely.
Yeah,
our neighbors are all really lovely. We wrote a note to all the neighbors on our hall, which you
Jay wrote a note. I helped.
You helped.
I helped. But Jay wrote a note
on it.
that basically just sort of said, hey, these are some things that we made a list of specific things that we felt we could help with neighbors who needed help, and Jay made copies of it and put it under everybody's doors.
Yeah, almost everybody. I did not put it under our door, and I did not put it under the door of the person whose email address we have.
Yes.
Because I emailed it to them.
Yes. But yeah, yeah, because I feel like we both have crappy lungs, but we're both, relatively young and relatively healthy. And
we've been pretty much social distancing for longer than things have been a major issue out here.
Yeah.
And it's been generally really, so we're still in good shape. We are also being aided in keeping a distance from people by the fact that it's pollen season, so we're both coughing all the time now, even though we're not sick.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much just what happens every March. So yeah, people are not coming near us outside, which works out very much to our advantage right now.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me feel really bad because I'm afraid I'm scaring everybody. Jay doesn't care.
I'm not wildly concerned. The people, the people who I'd be concerned about knowing that are like the people who run the shops that we go to regularly enough that we have conversations with them about it.
So yeah, and that's one of the things we've been doing is we've been going there's a couple local businesses that we go to a lot, and so going in there and checking in and making sure everybody's okay and that they're doing well. And
yeah, we've been going for walks too. We've been going for really long walks, and today we discovered my new favorite pizza place. Ironically,
pizza.
I think we're going to try to order pizza and pick it up from there tomorrow.
Yeah, they never do deliveries, so which is part of why we'd never gotten it from there before. Yeah,
because they're about 20.
Because they only do pickup, but oh my gosh, it was so good.
It was amazing. We just got, and they have relatively cheap slices. Yeah, and so I just want to start going there.
Yeah, if you're in New York,
we'll take you there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't want to name it because I'm neurotic about naming places that we go to regularly on the internet as a whole. But it's really, 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 really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had really good pizza. We went to 7-Eleven and got Slurpees and very carefully used napkins to turn the Slurpee things.
I felt very proud of ourselves for being very sensible, and then drank the Slurpees.
Well, yes, and then we drank the Slurpees. Yeah. So that was nice, and I got more of my favorite beverage of all the beverages. It's the best beverage. Don't believe what Jay's saying.
It tastes like if you mixed orange Triaminic with Coke.
It tastes like if you mix orange soda with Coke. And it's amazing. It's like creamsicle flavored Coke. It's kind of hard to find, but I love this stuff. And if I had to panic buy one item and I could find it, I would panic buy so much of this.
Well, I still technically have my job. The office at which I am not currently working is across the street from a store that consistently stocks it. And occasionally I would just go there and get like 24 of them for tea. So we no longer have that source, but we've got a local one. Local one. I wonder if the 7-Eleven closer to us has them.
Ooh. I actually think those 7-Elevens are about the same distance.
Maybe.
But
we got thrown today by the fact that we took a long walk sort of to other places before getting to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went out and walked and socially distanced from people who were walking by us. And that was pretty okay.
Other nice things. I mean, I guess for me, the big useful revelation of this week is social media stoppage, turning it off and stepping away from it. Because when you have too much information and it's moving too fast to follow or check, it's not actually a useful tool. And I'm probably going to set up some more curated Twitter lists in the future. But for now, I'm just sort of doing short bursts and then distancing from that, which is working out pretty well.
Social media distancing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a thing. Comics. Oh God. So here's a weird thing. Miles and I didn't record the cold open to episode 289, which is going up tomorrow, weeks out. So when we'd recorded the episode, things were happening, but it was like early news and nothing was generally on fire yet. And then last night was hey, New York is locking down completely in 2 days. And
celebration time.
Yeah. So that's been that was a weird jump. And we realized that it's the kind of thing we normally talk about in episodes. So we had to figure out some way to address it. So we wrote what may be a questionably tasteful cold open. We'll see.
It's an excellent taste.
I think it's fine. I think it's
okay. I think it's actually really, really good to be addressing these things.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's a lot more comfort in knowing that people who you sort of follow on the internet are going through things that are similar to you, and you're not alone. And I think especially right now when we can't interact a lot with people who we typically would,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. We ended up talking for a while last night because Portland is still a ways back from New York. And I mean, probably, I don't see a lot of cities getting to the point that New York City has, just because there aren't a lot of cities in the US with populations as densely, like the population density of New York. But so basically Miles is sending me an ongoing stream of cat pictures, which is great.
It's very good. Well.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Bella is very terrible and good in all of them.
She is really, really enjoying the fact that all of the people in the house are working from home right now most of the time, and generally being home more. It is her like this virus is her favorite, is the best thing that has ever happened to her.
Oh yeah.
She's apparently basically spending all of her time sleeping on Anna and purring.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's real good.
She is a good creature. I am super bummed that I'm not going to get to see her.
I'm sorry.
April, but
yeah,
we're gonna have. I've been promised cat FaceTime sometime this week. So
okay, as long as there's cat FaceTime.
All right, I feel like we're sort of wandering now, so we should probably wrap up.
Okay, that sounds okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Actually, so I have a question for you.
Oh yeah,
because I was talking about the podcast, so I'm going to ask you a question.
Right.
My question is how you deal with stuff like this with newspaper comics, because
you
have to. You're like you have to schedule those like months out, don't you?
So weeks out. So the way that newspaper comics work, comic strips, but because we deal with newspapers, we deal with a lot of different publications, but because we deal with newspapers, and newspapers have a very long lead time. For things like their comic sections, newspapers try to print anything that they know isn't going to change in advance, so that they can spend the last few days before a paper comes out getting the stuff that's new news into the paper. So they want to be able to spend the night before the paper comes out printing news that's actually going to be relevant. So they do things like comics up to 3 weeks in advance, which means that with something like this, there's going to be a lot of comics that were, and the comics have to get to us a couple weeks in advance so our editors can read them and make sure that there isn't a mistake, make sure that there's not, something.
A dick.
There are never deliberate dicks in the comics, but
well, that's why you need editors, for the inadvertent dicks. Right.
So, but occasionally we get angry letters from people who imagine that they see dicks in the comics. So there's a couple weeks on our end, and then there's a couple weeks on the paper's end for a lot of these comics. So one of the things that we did this week was we let all of our cartoonists know what the dates were for different parts of the process. So which dates were probably already printed, which dates might be printed by some papers already, which dates had been sent to the papers, but it was unlikely that they had printed all of them. And then just let them know that, we trusted their judgment, in terms of whether they felt like their readers would be upset by something that couldn't happen now, showing up in a comic, and but that if they wanted to change any of these, we would do our best to get them changed in as many papers as possible. So, so for example, we had one cartoonist wanted to change a comic about the World Series, not the World Series, about the baseball opening day, because that's been postponed. The World Series has not been postponed, but yet. So that's one. We had another cartoonist. So Easter's coming up, and we had another cartoonist who did a comic where his characters went to Easter Sunday church, and he just felt like he just felt like it wasn't fair, because it was the sort of thing where there were going to be so many people who were missing church and would be really unhappy about that. So so he changed that comic to another Easter themed comic, but not one that takes place in church. And so we also will send substitute comics to editors at papers who feel like a comic isn't appropriate specifically for their readers. So if a cartoonist is okay with something running, but an editor says, hey, we can't run this for whatever reason, then we can send them a substitute. And depending on the paper, the number of papers that want to substitute, the size of the paper, we for a lot of our cartoonists, we have a stockpile of extras. And if it looks like it's going to affect a lot of papers, then we'll take one of those so that they get a new substitute. If it's only one paper, then we're more likely to take an old one and just give them a reprint of an old comic. So that's generally what we do.
This has me wondering now how different classic King Features characters would deal with social distancing. Like, I'm imagining Maryworth digging out all of her old KGB era surveillance equipment.
So, interesting story. Right now, the current Rex Morgan story is actually about somebody dealing with quarantining from a respiratory illness. Now, the interesting thing about soap opera comics is that the plots for those are proposed months and months in advance. So Terry Beatty, who writes and draws Rex Morgan for us, he came up with this idea months ago. I think there may have been like a mention of this weird thing happening in China at the time, but it was small in China at the time. It wasn't even front page news there. So now he's written, but the story is coming out now, and so it looks like he's reacting in real time to something that's really happening.
But reacting with this weirdly minor thing.
It's not.
Yeah. It's an
yeah.
odd rhythm.
Yeah. So Terry basically said what he's planning on doing is trying to find a way to maybe do a flashback for his next story.
Is it going to be to Rex Morgan's college days and his torrid affair with Mark Trail?
No. But doing a flashback because he feels like it's really inappropriate to be trying to do a comic when there really is a legitimate health crisis, about a comic about contemporary medicine, when there's a legitimate health crisis. So he's thinking of something to do with that. But it's completely coincidental. But those are the sorts of things that happen with comics all the time. And usually it's on a very small scale. Like, for example, somebody will do a funny comic about a bear, and 99% of the world will look at the funny comic about the bear and be like, oh, ha, 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 ha. But we'll get one editor who'll be like, hey, we're so sorry, but
we've been nonstop covering.
Well, someone in our in our town was mauled by a bear. We can't run this week.
In fact, specifically by a hilarious cartoon bear. You can find a kind of amazing example of this, by the way. Years and years and years and years ago, I interviewed Francesco Marciuliano, who at that point was just writing Sally Forth, and now writes Sally Forth and Judge Parker for a webzine called Sequential Tart. And in this, he goes into a fair amount of detail about a time this happened with Sally Forth.
Yes.
With specifically a strip that was unpullable that intersected in really unfortunate ways with current events. And the reaction.
And so what generally will happen is in situations like this, there's always going to be something that already went to press that we can't do anything about. And generally what we'll do is we'll address it, either if the readers complain to us, we'll explain the process to them. And that's my job. I get to email readers and explain that, hey, this comic was printed by your paper 3 weeks ago. Nobody knew that this was going to be an issue. And sometimes it's by the newspaper editors. So, and in that case, they'll explain because they understand this process as well. So, so we get those. We will get complaints, and sometimes they complain directly to the cartoonist, and the cartoonist says, can also explain that to them. But yeah, so that's what we do in crises.
All right. I'm really curious as to how this is going to play out in superhero comics.
Oh,
like, and to what extent
I think it's going to be real interesting, but it also, there's so much potential for very terrible stories.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard line to walk. And
Yeah.
This is one of the points where I'm really, really happy that X-Men Snapshots is set in Crypto 1963.
Yeah.
So, I guess more 1962.
And that's one of the things that I've had a lot of conversations with my cartoonists about, because they're not sure to what degree they should be, do we want to mirror what's happening in the real world, or do we want to continue to just sort of create this alternate reality where things go on as normal? What's going to be more comforting to people? And yeah, when I talked to Bill Griffith, who does Zippy the Pinhead, yesterday.
Well, he's just going to be business as usual.
Well, and that's what, we had a very nice conversation about the fact that Zippy is always doing baffling things that nobody understands. So if Zippy's doing baffling things that nobody understands during a pandemic, nobody's going to, Zippy readers aren't going to be like, why isn't he social distancing? This is offensive. So,
yeah.
So that's one case. But there are people who really want to think about this because they don't, they don't really know how their readers are going to, their readers' comfort levels.
Or because they've got a strip that's specifically about interacting with the real world, or...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, so we have like some more political comics. Those ones, I'm sure are going to deal with it to some degree. Prince Valiant, the bubonic plague is going to hit Camelot. No, Prince Valiant has story arcs that are also planned months and months and months in advance, and
centuries.
Yeah, so Prince Valiant probably won't be dealing with this. Most of the story strips are probably likely not going to talk about coronavirus.
Okay.
But because those get planned way so far in advance that it would be very unlikely.
I just really want to see Mary Worth with a whole bunch of surveillance equipment.
So what we can do is you can commission June Brigman.
Oh, I could.
To draw it for you. Special.
What if I commissioned? Oh God, I'm trying to think of how much weirder I could take that. Because I was thinking it for my new convention sketchbook, which obviously is going to be somewhat delayed at this point.
Convention sketchbook, all of Mary Worth.
No, well, I was doing because I'm not the comic book guy from The Simpsons, and but no, I was thinking that because always got the weird Mary Worth stuff, but no, because my Cyclops Has a Good Day book was pretty much full, and I was thinking about just continuing that into another volume, which I might, but I was also thinking of a sketchbook of Namor getting forcibly removed from businesses, or other places, just Namor getting banned from places, and I feel like that could overlap or dovetail pretty well with Mary Worth. Mary Worth and Namor getting banned from places.
Oh, I thought Mary Worth was going to complain and get Namor banned. She's definitely a speak to the manager type.
Yeah, but I feel like she's also she'd appreciate Namor.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Eldritch horrors.
Yeah. I have this whole theory about Mary Worth being an elder god. It's probably not true, but I cling to it. All right, I think we gotta wrap it up. I think we're getting too weird for YouTube. All right.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us, 7 people. We'll try to do this again next week for whichever 3 of you decide to show up.
No, we'll try to give more advance warning next week.
Yes, and not do this at 11 at night.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
You can find us on the internets around where we live.